Does anyone feel like, I don't know, like modern games kind of suck, or like I was just thinking about it because I try to play so many new games, and I just can't. I just lose interest so quickly. Like one of the few games that held my interest really was like The Binding of Isaac, for example. Like it's so simplistic because it's just a dungeon crawler or whatever the fuck you call it. Like like The Legend of Zelda. You go into the dungeon and you fucking just go through each part. But and the bonuses you get or your power ups are random. And it's kind of like up to you. It's kind of up to you to do what you want with them, like as in to utilize them in what way you want. But then I played like Deus Ex Human Revolution, like the not the most recent one I suppose, but like the kind of the prequel, the first prequel that came out, and it was kind of like it seemed like such a good story. Like I was getting into it, and I was just like, this is kind of good. But then there's all this other shit, all this like talent tree, and you can go stealth, and all this kind of like, and then it's like you feel like you might miss stuff. Like it's one of those kind of games that kind of like you feel like, oh, if I don't fucking search every little thing and I don't do every little mission, then I'll fucking fuck up, or I'll miss something, or like, oh, if I pick the wrong talents, or if I'm like, that kind of seems good, but then this also seems good, and this seems like it could be good, and it's like, Jesus fucking Christ, how many choices am I gonna get? Can't it be fucking simple? Can't it just be somewhat simple? Like, fucking like Sonic the Hedgehog or fucking all Mario, like even new Mario is kind of simple. Like there's new things, like there's the new like I'm talking about like when I played Mario DS, like it was just like you get a bigger mushroom shit. There's extra things, but it's not in too much. Whereas then you play something like and let me clarify, like I'm not talking about like for example like League of Legends and shit and like COD, multiplayer COD and fucking CS:GO and fucking Dota or whatever, because it's like it's a competitive game. Like you're kind of it's all about your skill, which is what really what I'm trying to get at here is like well like Half-Life 2 for example, or like Half-Life 1, because it was one of the first kind of like PC games I ever really played, and that was like there wasn't this big mad fucking talent tree, and it wasn't like this big mad fucking thing. It was a story, and it was up to you. It was a bit of trial and error, obviously, but it was up to you had to have some fucking skill as well. So it was just like, and it's not a simple game because it was somewhat complicated, and the story was a bit, like not complicated, I suppose, but the story it played itself out. Whereas like I don't mind like a kind of a chosen narrative, as in like this is the story. Like Final Fantasy Seven, I love Final Fantasy Seven, but like it's like this is the story. But you don't feel like you're missing out on stuff if you don't search every nook and cranny. Like no, you might, because you know that like every nook and cranny has something in it, but you don't feel like you're really missing out on shit if you don't search every nook and cranny. And the story's there, and the battle it's simple shit. Like you don't need to know the intricacies of like materia and like what each stat means and what you're losing and shit. And you can finish the game without knowing all that shit. It's not the optimal way, let's say, to finish it. Whereas like you play fucking like I don't know what other game did I play. Like Bioshock was the same fucking thing. Like I kind of just I don't know. I hate like nowadays I just hate spending like fucking hours in the games. But like Bioshock was kind of similar, but not the same as Bioshock was a bit better. What else was there? Fucking like Dead Space. I like no Dead Space. Like I was like I hadn't played any Dead Space games, and then I go play Dead Space 1, and I'm like, yeah, jump scares grand, but it's not even fucking scary. Like the shit jumps out, and I'm like, it just looks like the thing, kind of like one of the like the thing through halfway through a transformation or something. Like from the movie, the thing, and it's just like it's not scary at all, like at all, like not even a tiny bit scary. The only thing that you're afraid of is like because you're anticipating the jump scare constantly, and maybe that's a thing, I suppose. But like when the actual monster comes, when the monsters are fucking there, that's meant to be when that's meant to be when it hits you. Like the fucking Jesus Christ, these are one of those fucking aliens that freak the shit out of me every fucking time. But it doesn't work. Like it never worked when I was playing it, and I was just like, fuck this shit. Like I was more afraid of like the Walking Dead point and click adventure game than Dead Space. Like miles more afraid. Because I was like, I suppose you know, like it's story based, yeah, grand, and it's like a point and click kind of thing. But you don't know when the zombie's going to pop out. Sometimes it is a reaction thing, rarely, but sometimes it is a reaction thing. And like, and then there's like, you don't know who's going to turn on you, the humans and blah 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 blah. But this is just like, oh, we're going into space to like figure out if this other crew is there, and then oh, there's googly mooglies there, and they're fucking gonna jump out at you. But it's like when they do jump out, like they have to like after they jump out, sorry, they have to retain. You have to retain the fear. It has to be in you constantly, continuously. But it's not the case. Like I'm rambling, and this is my very first video I'm ever going to put up. But I just needed to put up something. But all I feel like, I don't know, things sometimes a game can be overcomplicated in story, yeah. But even in the fucking just in the fucking talent tree and all this kind of shit, like even WoW, if you look at WoW, WoW was like WoW realized that like it was probably driving people away with its talent tree. You know, it's just this simple fucking shit, which might piss some people off. But I don't know. I went back to it now and I was just kind of like, it's a bit better. And a lot of people are gonna be like, oh, how can you like WoW and you don't like Human Revolution? But I suppose at least with WoW, there's like a steady, there's somewhat of a progression. You know, it's a different kind of game. You know, like you can you raid here and then you're trying to achieve the next part, you know, get to the next boss. It's kind of like an old game, except there's a lot of there can be a bit of grinding in it and stuff like that. And I don't like that part of it so much, but you know, it's a different thing. Like whereas I just feel like some modern games are just kind of like well, I don't know. This is sometimes like I tried a few different games on Steam. I just bought the games like and I started playing them and I was just like, God, this is a pile of shit. Like I played Knights of the Old Republic. I went to play the old Knights of the Old Republic, and I was like, "Oh, this will be great." You know, everyone rants and raves about it, and then you play it, and you're like, "What the fuck's up with all this talent tree shit? Like, how much shit do you need?" Like, I was never really big into like old RPGs, like Western kind of RPGs. It was more JRPGs and shit like that. But like, how much shit do you need to fucking go through? How many little like talents and stats and little things you need? Like, and some people might be like, it's not even that fucking much. But how much do you need for a game that's you? You're a guy. Like, I understand now if it's like is it the 4G kind of shit? You know, when there's like a intergalactic empire or Rome Total War, you know, like all that kind of shit. Then I can understand the intricacies there because it's required, and that's what the world is. You know, if you're a fucking emperor then that's what you need. But like when you're just fucking a guy running through the streets, picking up missions and shooting fiends, then what you need a talent tree for really? What you need it for? Why can't they give you just new abilities? Do you know? Why do I need this? And like I can't remember. I think I was watching Yahtzee's review, or it was someone's anyway, and it said, "Oh, if you go stealth the whole way, at the end it fucks you over because you stealth does nothing against the bosses because they can see you. So like it's like you just made a whole talent tree that becomes redundant when you fight bosses. So like what the fuck is you know? I'm all over the place. But this is my first video that I'm putting up on YouTube, so it's the kind of like get kickstart the whole fucking thing, you know. So if anyone looks at it and goes, "This is a pile of shit," yeah, probably. And hopefully then as I go along, I might structure it a bit more, you know, and have a more coherent argument rather than just me rambling and not really having like a solid point. You know what I mean? So I just started as well. Goodbye. Go on, I see you later.